Now let's take a look at how we can affect selective colors here inside of Photoshop CS3 utilizing another one of the adjustment layer features here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw this curves adjustment layer away, and I'm also going to clear these reference points here so that we don't have them on our screen anymore distracting us. I'm going to do that by coming over here, selecting the color sampler tool, and then coming up to the options bar and selecting clear. That's just going to clear those points off so that we no longer have to worry about them anymore. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to change certain colors in an image here. For instance, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out this green from the background here. So I'm going to come down here to the adjustment layer icon. This time we're going to choose hue and saturation. Now when you first jump into the hue and saturation dialog box, you're working here on what is called the master. So if you take out the saturation of this image like so, you notice that we've automatically turned this image to a complete grayscale composite. However, what if I only want to affect a certain color in this image? Well, it's very simple to do. I'll go ahead and I'll reset this to 0. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on this little drop down menu here. And you see inside of here, I have the ability to control each individual color in this image. So for instance, if I want to just take out the greens in this image, I'll go ahead and click on the greens, and then I can control the saturation of those particular colors, so I can just back those down like so. That, in essence, is another way that you can effectively remove colors from an image. Let's say that this image had that greenish color cast. Well, by taking those green colors completely out of the image, we've effectively neutralized that color cast here in the image as well. Now, this is great for creating selective color images here inside of Photoshop, and it's also a great way to maybe do some creative effects here. Like, for instance, if you wanted to, let's go ahead and bump this back up to 0, and let's go ahead and let's say maybe take out the magentas from this image. That's really going to just create some wacky things here inside the face. You notice we've desaturated the lips a little bit, and if we go ahead and accompany that with maybe the reds and take those out, you see you get some really interesting ways that you can selectively desaturate portions of your image. However, the most useful way of doing all this is to go back to the master, and we'll desaturate the entire image like so. Now I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And we talked a little bit about earlier masking out the smart filter layers, but we can also mask out these adjustment layers as well. So let's say, for instance, that I wanted to just selectively insert different aspects of this image to be in color. So what I can do is make sure that I have that layer mask selected. I'm going to go ahead and grab my brush tool like so, and I'm going to make sure that my foreground color is set to black, and then I can just come over here, making sure I have a nice soft edge brush, and I can just paint in selectively where I want this object to be colored. So for instance, if I just wanted to have his lips in color here, but you notice here that I've actually encroached a little bit onto the regular skin tones. If I want to get rid of that, I can simply hit the X key on my keyboard to flip my color back to white. And so anywhere I paint white on this layer mask is going to show the effects of that adjustment layer. So now if I continue to paint around this image like so, I can effectively make this guy look as if he was wearing maybe some lipstick here in this image. And I can also, let's go ahead and we'll bring out some of the colors of his eyes as well. Go ahead and bring back the blue of his eyes like so, just by clicking and painting with black here on that layer mask. Now you also notice that I brought back a few of those skin tones. Remember, I can just switch back to white by hitting the X key on my keyboard, and I can just brush those areas out as well. This is how unbelievably creative you can get with these selective color adjustments here inside of Photoshop, utilizing the hue and saturation sliders and also utilizing the power of the layer masks that are associated with the adjustment layers here inside of Photoshop.